Hello, everybody. This is Jason, and this is another Off the Cuff. All right, so we're going to do another album review. I'm going to talk about the new album by Jack White called Fear of the Dawn. There's the album cover for it. Jack White, of course, the White Stripes, big time famous band. Everybody loved them. I mean, Seven Nation Army has kind of become a new anthem, and they play it in sporting events and every other thing. Jack, of course, is a very eccentric guy. He started his own record label, Third Man Records, and he's just kind of a interesting character all around. Um, this is Jack's fourth solo studio album. He has three albums with the Raconteurs, three albums with the Dead Weather, and four solo albums and like six albums. He also did a collaborative album with Loretta Lynn, of all people. So Jack is a very productive guy. Matter of fact, Jack isn't releasing just one album this year. He's actually releasing two albums this year. I can't remember what the name. I think it's like the Entering Heaven or something like that. This album is the first of the two albums, and based off of my best guess, this is the heavier album of the two. The other album is going to be lighter, more reflexive. This album is kind of more designed to be like the heavy rock and roll album. And Jack is kind of gotten a little bit. This is a very sonically challenging album, at least for some people. It's very kinetic. There's a lot of noise. There's some pretty oddball tracks. There's a lot of tracks that aren't really songs. They're kind of more like soundscapes. I mean, he still has lyrics, but the lyrics don't necessarily mean a lot to the song. They're just kind of there as an engine to help drive forward the instrumental. And it's kind of a continuation of what he did with his previous album, Boarding House Reach. But I would say that this album is definitely better than Boarding House Reach because, in my mind, despite the fact that it kind of covers some interesting sonic territory, it's a little bit more focused, and I think there's a higher level of consistency throughout the whole song, or throughout the whole album. Now, there are still some good songs on this album. Taking Me Back, which was the lead single, is a good song. The Fear of the Dawn is a good song. You know, it's got the theremin in it, which is kind of interesting. There's actually three different songs that basically the title of the song is Fear of the Dawn. He has two songs called Eosphobia, which if you look up Eosphobia is Fear of the Dawn. And Eosphobia Reprise. Every song, except for a couple, has a kind of like morning, noon, and night, Fear of the Dawn, morning, let's see here, a couple other ones real quick. Let's see, Twilight, Dusk. So you can tell there's definitely kind of a morning, noon, and night theme. But if you think this is a like a concept album, it really isn't. Or if it is a concept, it's a really ethereal concept that's kind of hard to connect with. Now, the strengths of this is there's a lot of really good kinetic energy. There's a lot of songs that have a lot of punch. Musically, it's incredibly diverse. There's a lot going on. It is embracing electrical timbres. And one thing that's kind of interesting about this is obviously Jack embracing the digital world, which in the White Stripe days, Jack was like, no, I gotta use tape. No, I can only use so many tracks. No, I can only have so many things going on at once. And he had all these kind of rules and restrictions on what he can do. I remember reading an interview of his where he said too much opportunity limits creativity. Obviously, that's not the case on this album. There's a lot of creativity going on in this album. He's doing a lot of different things. There's a lot going on musically. Hidey Ho, which is also one of the advanced tracks, is one of the stranger tracks that I've ever heard and really defies any conventional categorization. It's an interesting track, but it's just its own animal. It's kind of its own real entity that's totally separate from anything else I've ever heard. And there's kind of a lot of that with this album. Now, as I've listened to this album, it's definitely grown on me. I've grown to appreciate it better. Um, and I think that when we get this and we get it out as the companion piece for what I am guessing is going to be the far more reflexive and song based album, I think these two will make a nice companion piece. So I kind of get a feeling that what Jack did was is he compartmentalized two different albums. He decided that this was going to be the more kinetic, frenetic, high energy electric album. And I'm guessing that the next album is going to be a little bit more quiet and more reflexive and kind of represent the other side of Jack White. So it'll be interesting to see how, when that second album comes out, how the two will go together and what kind of overall picture you'll get of this album. But I like the album. I think it's a good album. Sometimes I wish it was a little bit more focused, and maybe I wish there was a few more actual songs. There are a few songs, like Taking Me Back, Fear of the Dawn, The White Raven, Morning, Noon, and Night. That was then, this is now. But there's a lot of these, like, that are just kind of more like sonic explorations, which are interesting, but I still like songs more than I like musical interludes. But Jack has always had a proclivity for listening and doing he's always done some weird tracks. He's never not had an album where he's had some kind of a weird track that just is not a typical thing that you hear. Prickly Thorns and Sweetly Worn or whatever that is from he's always got something. Even some of his I think I smell a rat, or there's been songs like this throughout his whole career. The only thing about this one is this is almost an album full of those songs, which I know for some people isn't going to be the easiest thing to deal with. But I like it, and of course I am always looking forward to more output from Jack, and I eagerly await the next album. I am going to go see Jack live for the first time in the summer, and I'm definitely looking forward to that. Thank you guys, and you guys have a great rest of your day.